Hello, welcome back to BSLIVE. In this episode, I want to talk a little bit about Grease Pencil, kind of relatively unknown features. I only recently figured it out. So if you have a Grease Pencil and have it blank, and then you go into draw mode, and I'm gonna switch to the top view just in case, and work in orthographic. So if you draw some kind of shapes and you draw another shape on top of it with a bit of gap or maybe without gap, um, and then you look at the strokes. Okay, we have this GP layer, right? I will make another layer and I will make a new material. The new material will have the strokes off and the fill on, and I'm gonna give it a different color, and I will be using this fill, and then I will make a fill here. See, it works and actually works inside the shapes. So that's really interesting for me, because perhaps we can do similar thing to what we have back then when we have like Macromedia Flash. So these shapes also, this one actually have a gap, so we might need to increase the leak size to 20. So leak size will control whether, okay, there's a gap, and then should we have it leaking or not. Okay, that one apparently failed. I'll try with bigger size of leak. Oh, apparently that one also failed. Maybe so I will try drawing. Oh, I will use this stroke. Kind of try to close the gap and go back here, fill. Okay, this one works. Create another material, stroke off, fill with color, okay, yellow color, fill. So that's actually really nice, because we go back to object mode, and if I go into the, I pick a layer, right? And then if I right click and convert to mesh, what we're gonna have is actually the shapes. So this is the shapes of the mesh that we saw earlier. So let me try. So this is a curve, of course. We should be able to turn it into 2D. It didn't fill it. Let me do this properly. So this is a curve, and then I right click. If I convert this to mesh, now it's become polygon. So from grease pencil into curve, that is the shapes made of the intersections of the grease pencil stroke, into mesh. And with this mesh, I believe we can just separate them. F3, separate by loose part. So then we have a bunch of shapes. We also have this leftover lines. This one, they're all actually pretty clean and connected, although they're really high resolutions. So keep that in mind. Look at the dots, okay? So you can go inside and fill it. Same thing. I found this shape cookie cutter is very interesting, and people who works with vector artworks like Adobe Illustrator, or maybe any program that does SVG, like maybe Inkscape even, they will actually love this feature. I haven't watched the Blender conference video on SVG and Grease Pencil yet, but that part might be interesting. Okay, my Blender is somehow very slow. Let's close this. And anyway, but I'm still using, this is I think Blender 2.80 official and macOS Catalina beta. Okay, so let's save this, just GP cutter, Grease Pencil cutter. In the past, I have actually tried to do the same thing using SVerchok add-on, SVerchok nodes, and just to do this kind of a cookie cutter. I found it to be really interesting and something to really to explore. Let's use a solidify and we can have thickness. So I'm doing this very, very slowly, just to prove the points. File, save. This guy, however, is very high res. Maybe if we go back to the Grease Pencil, and actually if we go to object edit modes, we can perhaps select the shapes. So this is a shape with a lot of dots. We can maybe simplify this. Fix or adaptive, I will use fix. So that's kind of shapes that I prefer. It's cleaner and less sampling. So let's do the same thing with this guy. Okay. Strokes. Oh, wait a minute, what is it? So select this, hit L, and then strokes, simplify, fix, increase it a couple of times, not too much, otherwise we're gonna lose the shapes. One more time, strokes, simplify. Let's try adaptive. So adaptive have the points and it tries to maintain the shapes while having it as little as points as possible. Okay, so yeah, that's really pretty much what I want to show you. It's very interesting. So you can now convert it to mesh. Let's see if we have the mesh. That's the Grease Pencil, right? This is the mesh. We can convert it to mesh again, so it's twice. First it's going to convert it into curve, and then this one is an actual mesh, and then maybe you go to edit mode, fill the shapes one at a time. I'm selecting a point and then I tap L, select the shapes, fill it with F. So this one is much cleaner and much better mesh if you want to export it out. Solidify, increase the thickness. Okay, the face, of course, depending on how you select, the outline is gonna go up or down. So the face normal matters. This is something that probably can be scripted or using SVerchok nodes add-on. So I think, or this should be part of Grease Pencil, and then if you want to bake the Grease Pencil into maybe for AR, this is actually very important. So you need the strokes to become a mesh, and then the shapes and fills to become a mesh as well. Yeah, I really like this kind of thing, and I explore shapes, and then I try to find, I test some nodes in SVerchok add-on that actually does this kind of thing, and they're really useful, definitely. So anyway, so this is the simplest as possible I can make tutorial on grease pencil and fill and kind of like a shape cutter. All right, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.